week, someone in this community tells me they've started a probiotic to reset their gut. And I never want to crush that hope, but I do want to make sure it's pointed in the right direction. Hi, I'm Kate, and today we're talking about what probiotics actually do and don't do for Crohn's disease. Because there is a real role for them, it's just not the one that most people think it is. And getting that wrong can cost you time, money, and sometimes your health. So when my son was first diagnosed, I went straight into research mode. I'll be honest. And because I'm a naturopath, I'd been working with gut health for years, and even I felt the pull of the probiotic aisle. Because when everything else feels out of control, the idea that you can do something, take something that will rebalance what's gone wrong, it feels like hope that you can actually hold in your hand. My husband went through 3 surgeries before we really understood what we were dealing with. 3 surgeries. And in those early years, we tried a lot of things that were well-intentioned, but not well-targeted. And we probably are embarrassed to share. I see this every single week. Someone newly diagnosed or in a flare or exhausted from years of managing this, and they're spending $60, $80, $100 a month on a high-dose probiotic because a wellness influencer told them it would reset their gut microbiome. So I'm not here to take that away from you. I'm here to help you use it properly, or to tell you honestly when something else deserves that energy first. Here's what most people get wrong about probiotics and Crohn's. They think of the gut microbiome, well, they think of it like a fish tank that's gone murky. And a probiotic is like a filter that clears it all up. Clean slate, fresh start, reset. But that's not how it works. The microbiome is not a tank you can drain and refill. It's a living ecosystem, deeply individual, shaped by your genetics, your medications, your diet, your stress levels, your history. And in Crohn's specifically, the disruption just isn't about which bacteria are present. It's about inflammation, immune dysregulation, and a compromised mucosal barrier. These are not things you can swallow your way out of. Now, here's the reframe that I want you to hold on to. They're not useless. Probiotics are not useless. They are just not what the marketing says they are. They're not a reset button. They're more like a specific tool. And like any tool, they work brilliantly when you use them for the right job. And they do nothing when you use them for the wrong one. The problem isn't probiotics. The problem is vague wellness language meeting a very specific disease. Crohn's is not a general gut health problem. It's an immune-mediated inflammatory condition, and it deserves precise, honest support, not a one-size-fits-all promise. So let's talk about what precise and honest actually looks like. So you need to understand what the research actually says and which strains it says it about. When someone says, I'm taking a probiotic for my Crohn's, the first question I always ask, which one? Because the specific strain matters enormously, and most products on the shelf have no IBD trial data at all. So there are some that we actually have evidence for, and this evidence suggests that this probiotic can reduce antibiotic-associated diarrhea. So if your loved one is on antibiotics, which happens a lot in Crohn's management, LGG is worth a conversation with your GI team. So another one, which is more like a yeast, not a bacteria, also has some data for antibiotic-associated diarrhea and has been looked at in IBD context. It's one of the better studied options for people with Crohn's, and it has a reasonable safety profile. VSL3, a high-dose multi-strain product, has data in ulcerative colitis, and its evidence in Crohn's, though, is much weaker. I say this because I see Crohn's patients spending a lot of money on VSL3 because they've read it's good for IBD, and the nuance between UC and Crohn's really matters here. The takeaway is ask your naturopath or your GI team about specific strains with specific evidence, not just a good probiotic. Know what probiotics can realistically support. So what can they actually do? First, as I mentioned, reducing antibiotic-associated diarrhea. This is probably the strongest, most consistent finding across multiple studies. If someone's Crohn's is taking antibiotics like Cipro, and many do, a well-chosen probiotic alongside that course has real documented support behind it. Second, and this one is genuinely interesting, some strains appeared to support mucosal barrier integrity, so the lining of the gut wall. In Crohn's, that barrier is compromised. Some probiotic strains seem to help maintain the tight junctions, the connections between gut lining cells, and they support secreting IgA, which is a part of your gut's first line of immune defense. This isn't a cure, it's not reversing active disease, but supporting the barrier while other treatments do the heavy lifting. That's a legitimate, meaningful role. Some people find that certain strains help with general digestive comfort during remission. Less bloating, more regularity, that's not nothing, because quality of life matters. So be clear about what probiotics cannot do. And this is the part I feel most strongly about saying out loud. Probiotics cannot replace a biologic that isn't working. They cannot reverse active inflammation. They cannot close a fistula. They cannot prevent a stricture from progressing. If someone is in a flare or their Crohn's is active and undertreated, a probiotic is not the intervention they need. And delaying the right intervention because they're hoping the probiotic will turn things around is genuinely dangerous. I've seen it. I've had people come to me after 6 months of trying natural gut healing while their disease was quietly progressing. And that is heartbreaking because the intention was good, the hope was real. It's just the information they'd given, well, it wasn't honest enough. Probiotics also do not reliably prevent relapsing Crohn's. The data on this is weak. Ulcerative colitis has better evidence for maintenance support. Crohn's, not so much. I will not tell you otherwise just because it would be a nicer thing to hear. The one scenario where probiotics may genuinely help Crohn's patients right now. Here it is. So here's where I want you to land, because I don't want you to walk away thinking probiotics are useless, because they're not. The scenario with the strongest case for probiotic use in Crohn's right now is post-antibiotic microbiome support during remission. And here's what that looks like in practice. You're a person with Crohn's and you're in remission. Your disease is controlled, your medication is working. They need a course of antibiotics for something unrelated or for a complication. During and after that antibiotic course, a targeted probiotic, like LGG, the ones that I reach for first, can help protect the microbiome from significant disruption, reduce antibiotic-associated diarrhea, and support recovery of the gut environment. That's a specific, evidence-informed, realistic use case. It's not glamorous, it doesn't have a great marketing slogan, but it's real. And for a Crohn's patient who's already dealing with a compromised gut environment, protecting what stability they have during an antibiotic course is genuinely worth doing. Point 5, have the conversation with your whole team. Please loop your gastroenterologist in before starting a probiotic. I know that sounds overly cautious for something you can buy off a shelf, but in Crohn's particularly, in people who are immunocompromised or post-surgical, there are rare but real safety considerations. This is not a reason to avoid probiotics, it's a reason to use them as part of a coordinated plan, not instead of one. As a naturopath, my job is to work alongside your medical team, not around them. The best outcome I've seen with my husband, with my son, and with my clients have always come from their integrated approach. Everyone talking, everyone informed. Now, we started today with that image of someone holding a bottle of probiotics, hoping it's going to reset everything. And I want you to know, I understand that hope completely. When someone you love is sick, or when you are sick, and the disease feels so big and so relentless, the idea that something this simple could help feels like breathing room. Here's what I want you to take from today. That hope is not misplaced. It just needs a more accurate target. Probiotics have a real role in supporting Crohn's management. It's just smaller and more specific than the wellness world tells you. And that is actually a good thing. Because when you use the right tool for the right job, well, it actually works. And when you stop expecting one supplement to carry the weight of an entire disease, you free yourself up to build a plan that actually holds. My husband has been flare-free for 20 years. My son is in deep remission. That didn't happen because of any single thing. It happened because we built a complete picture. And we were honest about what each piece of it could and couldn't do. So if this helped you get clearer on probiotics and Crohn's, share it with someone in your life who needs to hear it, because this information doesn't travel nearly as fast as the wellness marketing does. And if you want to go deeper, to actually build a plan that's specific to your situation, come and find me in the Crohn's Method community. Take care of yourself, take care of the people you love, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a beautiful day.